seeing a lion or a leopard. She is looking very, very focused. This is not a sleepy lion, everyone. I think we could see something exciting. I don't know if it'll necessarily be a successful hunt, but I do think we might see an attempt here. But I certainly think there might be some action. Can really see her crouching, working on staying hidden here. I'd love to know what she's lining up. I think our three options would probably be zebra, springbok, gemsbok, maybe eland, possibly also kudu. I'm also curious to know where her pride mates are. And who says sitting at the waterhole can't be exciting sometimes? Can feel the anticipation. It's quite palpable here. She's unfortunately got quite a open bit of ground between her and her quarry, so I think she knows that mopani bush is her best bet to remain concealed. She'll have to probably wait till it's quite close. Well, there's our next lion. This one, however, looks a lot more sleepy or docile. I don't know if it maybe wasn't as aware as its partner in crime there. Certainly something in the area that's got their attention. But yeah, standard lion behavior when they hang out around a waterhole. It's only a question of time before something walks past them and presents itself on a silver platter. I once watched the pride of lions in the Kruger with the exact same plan, just merely lying around the water waiting for a few things to walk in. And of course one always sits there with much excitement, hoping for the best. I think all our lions are now accounted for, but I think there's two on either side of this mopani bush, one to the left and one to the right. It's obviously a bit difficult to focus with those weeds that are blocking the view. But also, once again, there seems to be a fair amount of focus from these lions. They do seem to all be intently watching in one direction. I don't know if they're just waiting to spring their trap, but these lions certainly look quite alert. Hello again to everyone tuning in. I see quite a few messages flooding in. Good morning to everyone. Certainly turning out to be quite a exciting and action-packed show so far. I'm just trying to figure out if these lions are partially aware or they really are up to something, but they certainly do seem a bit more placid now. But yeah, from my count, I'm under the suspicion that there are 4 lions, but they are quite well spread out. But it's interesting how that female that was on the furthest left, she really looked quite aware, and considering all these lions are actually much closer, it makes you wonder what she was seeing or what they were looking at. But they all do seem a bit calmer now. Such a fantastic sighting. Dorian, you were saying you've seen recent news articles that lion poaching is on the rise at the moment in Kruger. What causes these sudden spikes, or has it been gradual? To my knowledge, and people I know, etc., that are in different positions in nature conservation, from what I understand, it's more the northern parts of the Kruger Park that are quite badly affected by lion, I think you could call it poaching, but it's more poisonings actually, and it tends to be done more by communities on the fringes in these rural areas. My goodness, this lioness looks incredibly alert. Looks like she's about to jump at any moment here. And it's interesting because she's the one right at the back, so I don't know if she's got a better line of sight to what's coming to drink, and we can safely assume something is definitely going to come drink at this time of day at Safari Hook. You can see it's quite hot. Certainly one of those moments where patience might pay off quite well for us, and we could see something truly remarkable. But this girl at the back is certainly very alert. But yeah, so from what I've heard, there is obviously a bit of lion poaching that takes place for medicinal markets, lion body parts, etc., which is quite sad. But lions are also killed slightly due to revenge killings when they break out of the park and kill cattle, etc. But also they are in a way almost a bycatch when carcasses are poisoned, because poachers are trying to conceal their bushmeat camps. You know, obviously if you've got lions and vultures, etc., hanging around these areas, it gives away the locations. So information coming to the front nowadays is that these animals are actually being killed just purely to continue masking these smaller bushmeat camps that are poaching antelopes, etc. And unfortunately the lions and vultures and hyenas are suffering along the way. It's not necessarily meant for them, but yeah, it is incredibly sad. In the northern parts of the Kruger there have been some effects to lion populations. I would say throughout the rest of the Kruger the lion populations are quite good and quite strong. Okay guys, well, we're just gonna do a quick recon of our other cameras. I'm sure our lions are not going anywhere. We'll keep a close eye on the background. We're gonna go over to Twin Pan for a little bit. From one predator to the next. Quite a photogenic crocodile here for us, posing very nicely and looking quite dazzling. Obviously also quite warm in that part of the world. You can see this crocodile is thermoregulating a bit with its mouth there to release the build-up of heat there. quite a big crocodile though. This is not a small fry.
What is the wild really saying? Over 4 unforgettable days in the Cylinder Spillway, you'll step into the ancient art of tracking. Guided by master tracker Renius Mhlongo, expect sharp humor, deep knowledge, and stories from a lifetime of tracking. Less classroom and more boots, laughter, and wild discovery in Africa's great wilderness landscapes.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change. Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature, live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure. Safari, wine, and waterfalls. The ultimate African adventure. Sip South Africa's finest wines. Experience a world-class safari among Africa's iconic wildlife. And stand in front of Victoria Falls, one of the natural wonders of the world. All this can be yours with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Reduced function for them, and obviously crocodiles eat some pretty rotten meat, so I would say taste is not very high on their importance. I see the lions to the right are looking quite aware. This one in the middle is taking it easy, maybe cannot see too well. Just amazing how well they can blend in. Those plants don't look very large or as if they would make a difference, but now that we can see that lion is just lying in there, she's almost completely hidden essentially. I'm quite hopeful considering how at peace these wildebeest appear to be. They don't seem very aware, or maybe casting a few glimpses in the direction of our lions. But there's hope. It is obviously quite a distance to be covered. Sure, that's a very long distance for the lions to move. But if all goes well, those wildebeest might drink and then keep moving to the left in the direction of our lions. I think this is just the ultimate test of patience. They really just need to sit still and wait it out. I did think maybe if one or two of them were a bit closer, that I could cut them off. But I do think that's a bit far. The wildebeest will definitely be able to escape quite quickly. But I think patience may pay off here. Depends how hungry they are. James Hotham, I do agree. Lunch is slowly coming closer. This is one of those exciting moments where you just have to commit to the long haul, sit back and watch. I think one's patience in these situations is generally rewarded. I've never really seen too many kills. I have seen hyenas bring down a hippo, the Kruger. That was purely by chance. But I've seen many failed lion hunts. It's truly exciting when they do run off and it's just chaos in every direction. Makes it well worth the wait. So the wildebeest seem to have moved a bit in the wrong direction here. But let's see, they might keep heading left. They have certainly had their drink. But I would say they're not aware of these lions. Doesn't appear so. I don't know if they're aware and that's why they've chosen to drink so far to the right here, but they seem quite relaxed to me. Also, of course, not easy to see which way the wind direction is, but it actually seems to be blowing towards the lions, so the wildebeest won't smell them. So that helps conceal. But of course, the food needs to get a bit closer now. Dark maned lover, you'd like to know if I've ever seen a grown lion, pride of lions, hunt a full-grown croc. I wouldn't say necessarily hunt. I've seen interactions between the two. Normally when something's been killed near the water and there's a bit of a fight over the carcass. But I've never actually seen them trying to. I think it's been recorded. I just myself have not seen it all. Excuse me. A bit of low-flying aircraft, but yeah, I think it has been recorded. I don't think it happens very often. I'm just trying to think. I think maybe in Kruger there was footage of lions capturing a smaller crocodile, but bombarded nowadays with so much footage of different sightings. It's a bit of a maze. But what does come to mind is, and I've read a couple stories of leopards actually hunting crocodiles. Of course, not fully grown. And I also don't think lions would maybe necessarily go for a fully grown crocodile. Maybe a bit of a smaller animal. Of course, with numbers on their side, they could do it. But that's what I was thinking of. In Greater Kruger, there was footage of a crocodile near a pan. Some young lions were getting a bit rough with it and trying to catch it. But I do think the crocodile managed to escape into the pan. It was of course not a fully grown crocodile. I think it was about 1.5 meters or 2 meters. So not full grown by any standards. Alrighty, well, we'll let the chessboard continue to develop. We're going to go to Founders for a few minutes and we'll keep a close eye on the action here. See, I've got I almost called them hippos, beg my pardon. They do look a bit like hippos in the water. We've got all the rhinos here, dotted about. I think I count a good 6 or 7 rhinos. Everyone's having a great day in the waterhole, cooling off and lathering that mud on. I saw even the zebra was getting stuck in there, but I think that was probably more to get to the undisturbed water in the middle of the waterhole. Certainly a nice peaceful day here at Mantis Founders Lodge. I don't know when it's actually not peaceful and picturesque here. See, the zebra's also making use of the scratching rock. Some interesting posture from that rhino at the back there. So that would look like submissive posture to me, with its ears folded back like that. It's probably just being submissive towards the dominant male. Very interesting creatures. We're gonna leave our rhinos. I'm going back to Safari Hook. Action is awaiting. Well, we've got a new player in the game here. We've got a youngish waterbuck bull. He certainly seems to be alert or suspicious. Oh my gosh, that lion, I didn't actually see it for a second. There's a lion to the right. That is incredibly close. I'm not sure this fellow has walked himself into a bit of a trap here, because that line's on the right and then you've got another one to the left where he's looking. Now I think if this waterbuck tries to walk out of here, he is possibly going to walk very close to a lion. But I think this waterbuck's also quite suspicious. Something's not 100% right. I don't think he can put his finger on it, but he's realizing something is amiss. That line to the upper right corner looks incredibly laser focused. You can see how low down it's gotten, staring at that waterbuck very intently. It knows exactly when it's in range. None of these lions look too young. They all seem relatively older or mature enough, so I think they are quite well experienced. Ooh, there's a few more waterbuck entering the scene here. Things could certainly get very interesting shortly. And that type of behavior from a waterbuck female says to us they're not very suspicious, but they're calm. They haven't necessarily identified any danger or anything like that. So the presence of these lions has not been revealed yet, which is quite nerve-wracking. I'm quite excited for what could happen. Quite a ominous look on that lion, just with its eyes and ears sticking out. One could possibly say a bit of nightmare fuel, but very alert, ready to pounce. Nathan, I don't know if it's true that waterbucks necessarily have a bad smell. I've never said bad smell. They are known to have a gland on them and their hair, and if that gets onto the meat, it's known to taint it. But I've also read articles or watched videos where people disprove it, and they on purpose try to contaminate the meat with the hair, and then they say there's no taste difference. So certainly very interesting. There's also suggestions that carnivores don't necessarily like to hunt waterbucks because of that. I don't know if I 100% agree with that. I think they will eat anything that comes by. But yeah, it's known to be an oily substance that gives the meat a off-putting taste. You'll see something to the right here. It's even got the lion's attention. I really wonder what it could be. This is just so exciting. I don't think it's possible to ask for a better sighting. It's one thing having lions at the waterhole, but then actually having lions that are awake and ready to hunt is a whole different situation. Amazing how the camera something's blown the cover there, unfortunately. Maybe caught the scent of the lions. I can hear a bit of alarm snorts there, so they might have smelt them. I'm not sure if eventually that waterbuck bull saw the closest lion. Yeah, I think unfortunately the cover is blown here. It will take a while for things to reset themselves. I don't know, not necessarily saw it, but if they are just aware that there's possibly lions, or they've actually seen them properly. So it's interesting, you can see these oryx and springbok are unsure. They themselves are aware of something going on, but they haven't necessarily seen the lions. I have a feeling the waterbuck maybe caught a glimpse or a bit of scent, and it's kind of raised the alertness of everyone in the area. But I would not say these oryx and springbok are aware of what's actually afoot. Now it might be that oryx can slightly see the lion. Antelopes will in a way approach, or if they can see the predator, they'll do their best to keep it in vision. Obviously there's two options: you keep a careful eye on it, or if you turn your back and run away, make sure you run away for quite a while, otherwise it might catch you. But I don't think they've really seen them in the bushes here. James Hotham, you were saying you've always wondered why cats don't hang around waterholes more. Everything needs water, of course. Potential easy meals. That said, poor waterhole, not enough cover. It is certainly a very interesting dynamic. Almost feels like a lucky packet, or it's half the time or 50% of the time that you actually maybe see cats hanging around a waterhole, and I think it comes down to that topic of a lack of cover. It's actually not necessarily great. Whereas that thicker bush just on the fringes, that is the perfect place to launch an ambush. Here we can see it, there's still quite a bit of ground to be covered, or the animal necessarily needs to walk straight past the lions for it to work. I am very sure there's two lions in this Mopani bush, the one we just cannot see too well on the left hand side. But I must say, in the dead of winter or the dry season, it's you tend to really find your cats hanging around the waterholes quite predictably. Of course, there are other matters to be attended to at times, such as territorial duties. Anyway, just to calm the nerves a bit, we're going to go over to Aldonio for a bit. I don't think anything might happen now, but we'll keep checking. Good old elephants having a nice peaceful Sunday drink. Quite a few doves flying in as well. They're also predictably drinking at this time of day. Of course, Ellie is doing what they also love to do at this time of day. Does seem like the bigger bull is moving off a bit there. And this smaller guy will now drink from the water inlet. These two elephants seem to be pondering the great mysteries of life. Not too much activity going on. It seems like they're just standing and listening. It looks like the one elephant to the left has decided to take a bit of a bathroom break. But yeah, I'm convinced this smaller bull is actually listening more and just paying attention to what's going on. He doesn't really seem to be worried about drinking at the moment. Henry, I do agree. It's good to have some time with the eddies and just take back the excitement and action. It's always a very grounding experience to spend some time with elephants. Of course, it's also always very enjoyable. Oh, there's another one at the back there, also disappearing off into the brush. Yeah, such fantastic animals. Well, our Ellies have unfortunately left us, but we're going to head on over to Founders, see what's going on there. One of the very many land hippos, just catching some sun rays. I'm sure it's actually quite hot there at the moment. I'm surprised there are not more of them, or actually I'm surprised all of them actually aren't in the water. I know the Cape has been quite brutally hot the last while. There's a good majority of them certainly taking it easy, either in the mud or the shade of the surrounding trees. Greg, I must apologize. I was going to answer your question about why do white rhinos form temporary crashes while black rhinos rarely do. And often we always see white rhinos in these very social settings compared to their relatives, the black rhino, which are quite solitary. Often, that being said, at night you will see black rhinos interact a bit more with one another. But you tend to see this more with white rhinos. It's just more down to the way that they feed, live and use space. So they grazes in open grasslands, so their food is a lot more spread out and available. So that in itself allows multiple animals to function in one habitat with a lot less conflict. If you compare to browsing, etc., yes, there may be quite a few trees, etc., but there's certain bushes and trees that are much more palatable or favored, and your competition will start to come in there, because not all trees and bushes are super palatable. But yeah, your black rhinos being browsers that live in very dense bush, their food is scattered, so they travel around and will feed alone. You'll generally maybe see a cow and a calf, and maybe a bull trailing if he wants to mate. But they're a lot more territorial and defend their personal space a lot more aggressively. I know there was research done in Addo and this part of the world, how a black rhino bull tends to have one waterhole that's his, and he does not really tolerate other bulls in that environment. So I think that also explains that why the white rhinos tend to be a lot more social. These guys are looking very content with life. No complaints.
My full name is Maxine Gaines. Most people that know me really well call me Max. I'm a mum. I have 2 boys. One is 16 years old and one is 14 years old. I'm a very, very proud mama of my 2 boys. I've just always been passionate about leopards. I'm passionate about their conservation. I'm just passionate about everything to do with leopards. I love them.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
If you love watching Wild Earth, here's a little tip. Become a member. You can gain access to the channel ad-free, you can rewind and re-watch sightings, and you can join our Tuesday live safaris. There's also behind the scenes videos, fireside chats, and every Safari Live episode, whenever you want it. It's just a better way to stay connected to nature.
Barrage or filling station, as people in other parts of the world may call it, near Gauteng, where they also, next to the filling station is a game reserve with rhinos, and you can actually watch the rhinos from the restaurant, and you see quite similar behavior. The rhinos also tend to hang around exclusively around the waterhole, making use of the grazing and the feed, which supplements their diet. Occasionally you will see a bull disappear off into the deeper parts of his territory, but I think these rhinos have a very nice life here at Founders, that's for sure. Why go make it difficult for yourself when it's quite comfy here by the waterhole? Jaden, you'd like to know if it is true that an elephant's testosterone influences its behavior. It's definitely the case. It's the case for many mammals. All hormones have the ability to influence a lot of behavioral changes, etc., or influence certain behaviors. But testosterone is quite a powerful driver or force in elephant bulls. When the testosterone levels rise, particularly during must, your bulls tend to become much more confident, dominant, and more focused on breeding. So that's when you start to see those stronger displays, a bit more assertive behavior, and less tolerance of other elephants. And that's what makes them so unpredictable when when that testosterone surge is active, or must. But outside of must, your testosterone, it still plays an important role in confidence and dominance, but when an elephant bull's not in must, it's much more stable or predictable. You can read it. They're still, I would say, they're thinking with a clear mind. But yeah, must is a whole different can of worms. I think if you had to look at it, essentially your hormones don't remove intelligence, they just turn certain instincts up or down. Anyway, we're going to leave our bathing rhinos. We're going to go check in on our lions again at Safari Hook. Well, our cats certainly haven't gotten tired yet. They are still alert. It's almost like the flick of a switch. Looks like they're not paying attention, but they're very quick to get focused again. Seem a bit more calm or relaxed, so I assume there's no impending food coming their way. This girl's a bit more focused on some shade here. Gonna hide behind a little mopani bush. Certainly reminds me a bit of a house cat mucking about. But I do think these lions are quite keen for a meal. And this girl is looking very regal. I think she's struggling to find a comfy spot necessarily. I think a little bit of shade by that mopani bush is not really pleasant. I think she might find a bit of a more comfy spot to lie down. Sure, she's gone to look for one of the other pride mates there. I think we can be very confident there are no antelopes in the immediate area. They would definitely see this and go heading for the hills. But I'm sure later some other unfortunate antelopes may come across them. This is what I would call quite a dangerous mopani bush. There's 3 lions in there, although my original 2 could have actually moved, so there's maybe only 1 now. It's a bit tough to see. There's either 1 or 2, but I do think there's been some shuffling of cats around here. Yes, you'd like to know how important is timing during a lion's hunt. I would say timing is everything. If it starts too early, the prey gets that important. When I say too early, I mean if the lion is still a bit too far, it's not within range. So it's important to know your lions tend to have they do have incredibly fast acceleration. Whereas most of your antelopes are built more for endurance. They've got a more middle ground speed. So their prey needs to be quite close to them, that they can quickly accelerate and close the distance and pounce on them. So if they start too early, the antelopes now will get that early lead, and the lion will not be able to close the gap. I would say too late, and that probably means it's gone past it and it's out of the danger zone again. But yeah, timing is so important. It needs to be within range. The lion needs to have the right line of sight. So if they don't pounce at precisely the correct moment, that their prey is able to edge out that bit of distance it needs. I guess what I would say when one speaks of too late, all the animals might get a bit too close, and that's when they can detect the lion, and if it's not ready, then the alarm will also be sounded before the lion has a chance to react or pounce. So it needs to also carefully pick its target and know when it is going to go for that specific animal. Anyway, I'm going to leave our peaceful lions. I do think they're taking it a bit easy now. I'm going to pop on over to Tao. Certainly a stunning scene here at Tao today. Plenty of zebra and wildebeest filling the plains up. And they're all looking quite content, lots of grazing and food to go around. The bush is certainly changing quite drastically here. So a lot of shades of green are starting to change. It is of course the end of January, so the bush will start to dry up a bit. I would say it's worryingly a little early in the season, but of course it's quite different to the flooded areas of the Kruger at the moment. large herd of zebra here, and looking quite content. Seem to be slowly milling out of the area. They've obviously finished their drink, aside from these two stragglers here at the water's edge. I do think they've chosen quite a poor place to drink. The water looks quite muddy there, but I guess the risk of crocodiles is maybe far less in that spot, so safety first. I'd say this is probably one of our live at the waterhole sessions where we haven't been too focused on birds today. I think the lions have made up the most of the excitement. Of course, the rhinos and elephants also providing a fair share of the entertainment. And I must say, we haven't seen any really unique birds today. It's actually been quite standard, but beautiful nonetheless. Freddie, you'd like to know, there go some zebras, if zebra hooves ever overgrow like giraffe hooves. Well, I must say I've never seen an overgrown giraffe hoof myself. It's quite rare to see a overgrown hoof in any wild animal for that matter. Their hooves tend to be trimmed by the surfaces that they walk on, so of course it can happen, but very rare. Maybe more in captivity one would see it. I think the long distances which zebras move over hard abrasive ground will keep their hooves quite well trimmed, and you can kind of consider it a built-in trimming system. Exciting. I see our lions are getting ready, a bit of a pounce crawl position there. I do think these lions are quite keen for some lunch to come to them. It is after all Sunday lunchtime, so good timing. But they do seem to be very aware. I think they are trying their luck quite hard for a meal. But also just finishing off on the giraffe side of things, I think it's quite rare that their hooves will really get overgrown in the wild. I think it's maybe possible on older or injured animals where they're not maybe moving as much or using that hoof, maybe if it's an injury, that could cause it to become overgrown. Could also maybe argue that giraffes tend to avoid harder, more abrasive terrain, but I'm not really in agreement with that one. I've seen how giraffe can quite comfortably navigate uneven, rocky terrain. Also interested in trying to figure out what the lions have possibly picked up or seen. Apparently there are some zebra that are heading in, according to the zoomies. Zebra is certainly a lion's favorite meal, so it certainly could get exciting. Time is on our side, so it would be amazing to see that. Maybe not for the zebra, but certainly a very amazing sight to witness. Oh, there's the zebra. Okay, they're moving from left to right. Unfortunately in the wrong direction here. They've obviously come from that direction, but they were probably a bit far out. But we could see the lions try set something up here. Nathan, you'd like to know if lions like hunting buffalo because it's the perfect size prey to fool or feed the pride, I assume. That is true, but it's not without its dangers. Hunting buffalo is incredibly dangerous. They are quite dangerous animals. They're in large herds. Okay, something has spooked the zebra here. I'm not sure if one of the lions broke up. No, it seems like the zebra are actually just chasing each other. So this could still bode well. If they're distracted like this, they might head straight towards the lions like they are doing now. This can get very interesting. But yeah, nonetheless, buffalo are dangerous animals to hunt, and also they're generally in herds. Of course, your older bulls are on their own, but even then they've got a very grumpy disposition, which makes them all the more dangerous. But yeah, if the pride is big enough, they'll often tend towards hunting buffaloes. But it depends on a lot of factors. It depends on the time of year. In the dry season, buffalo are quite vulnerable. They starve quite easily during droughts, dependent on water, so that makes them easy targets compared to your zebra and wildebeest. Yeah, and they can be slow moving. When cover is quite good, kind of like I would say what you're seeing here at Safari Hook, you will see lions quite happily hunting zebra or wildebeest. It's one of their favorite prey animals. But as the habitat tends to get more and more open, lions tend to go for buffalo a bit more because they're much easier to ambush. They're not as quick as zebra or wildebeest. So it's quite dynamic. It depends on a lot of matters. There was research, and there was also a TED talk on this, with lions in Kenya shifting their hunting from zebra and wildebeest predominantly to buffalo due to the landscape becoming more sparse and open due to an invasive ant species that outcompeted acacia ants, which meant the trees were overbrowsed and they slowly died, and the savanna was populated by more and more grass. In turn, the zebra and the wildebeest could see the lions coming from a far distance, which meant they could avoid the lions a bit more easily, and in turn the lions responded by hunting buffaloes. So yeah, it's dependent on a lot of habitat factors, I would say, but very interesting. I think that's one facet of nature that I enjoy the most, is all these little connections and interactions that cause these certain happenings. You can see a bit of a retreat taking place. I wonder if the zebra saw it. But I think the old girl has decided it's not worth lying in the open there and getting baked by the sun. We'll watch from a distance and reassess. But it just shows you how quickly things can change. So originally those waterbucks saw them, things carried on, things maybe went a bit more back to normal here at the waterhole, and the next herd of animals then came through, and they're not aware of the lion. So yeah, I think they just need to be patient. Eventually an opportunity will present itself.
Join me at Mabula Private Game Reserve from 6 to 11 May 2026 for a 5-night private safari for just 6 guests. Just incredibly exciting. Enjoy guided walks, take part in rhino conservation efforts, and explore Mabula's beautiful landscapes from open plains to rocky hills, alive with birds, animals, and vibrant plant life.
Even a hyena coming into the action as well now. Oh my word! She's stalking the hyena now. Leopard, hyena, lion, all together in one shot. Oh! Woo! This is action-packed.
Would you like to know what an elephant's favorite food is? You could ask me questions like that in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive from the heart of Africa. The Fortunas over here. Watch Safari Live and connect with nature.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature, live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
enough to keep themselves well fed. And yeah, I don't think it's the weight that's really the determining factor. A lion's whole makeup is set on strength, not so much speed. Obviously they've got very rapid acceleration, but it comes from that raw strength of their stocky build. I must say the wind is certainly in the lion's favour. Anything coming from that other side will not have a good chance of smelling them. Anyway, we're going to take a bit of a break from our exciting lion watching and pop on over to Tembe. I'm sure he'll be back here soon, but time to relax a bit. Nice to be here in Elephant Central. Certainly quite a warm day in the northern KZN. Elephants doing what they do best, getting a mud bath and getting hydrated. And he's looking very content. You can also see our ever-present woolly neck storks patrolling the grass. There's also a few impala and nyala abounding. Plenty of life here at the Tembe Elephant Park camera today. But I must say, I don't think this camera is ever really truly quiet. I think there's always something going on here. It's, one could almost liken it to the Garden of Eden. I see them bull elephants having a bit of a snack while he cools down. I must say everyone looks rather relaxed and content. But I must say, having been to Tembe myself, these are also some of the most relaxed elephants you will come across. They're not very aggressive. And at the same time very big animals. So it's quite a awe-inspiring experience to be so close to such gentle giants. Of course, they demand a healthy level of respect. Quite a bit of size comparison taking place at that tiny little impala ewe standing next to that large elephant bull. It really drives home the message of how big an elephant is. One of Africa's largest land mammals next to one of Africa's most plentiful land mammals. Nathan, you'd like to know, how did humans realize that elephants have great memory? So I think it's a topic that's been studied over many years and decades by many people and researchers and scientists. But I think some of the markers of this memory would be how the same elephants, return to the same spots, waterholes, certain fruiting trees at specific times of year, etc. It starts to, once they start working, or once those patterns are picked up, one starts to realize, well, it's not purely by coincidence, because every elephant in a district would maybe rock up, but it's certain specific animals that have been known to researchers, etc. And that they know when there's certain times of year where there is water, there isn't water, how they avoid certain dangers. So yeah, I think the big thing is noticing those patterns. I think humans themselves are very good at noticing patterns, and once you start to recognize that, you start to realize there's more than meets the eye that's going on. But yeah, it's a very extensively researched topic. Well, I'm going to leave these ellies and head on over to Aldonio for a bit. Quite a diversity of species here: zebra, giraffe and eland. I think the eland are unfortunately leaving, but it always often seems like that. Once the elephants have finished their drink here at Aldonio, then everything else comes for its turn. Brenda, you'd like to know if I think giraffes experience cramps and discomforts from their drinking positions. No, I don't. I think they're quite well adapted for it. Considering the lifestyles they lead, it's also quite healthy and normal. So giraffes I mean, they don't have funny sitting positions or posture positions that they may be forced into like us humans. So I think they're quite well adapted to perform their drinking duties, and that does not endanger them. Obviously something like this would come over a long evolutionary period in which they adapted to having long necks, and considering drinking is quite an important daily function, especially for animals in the African savanna, which need to drink quite regularly. I think it's something that they're quite well used to. It's certainly a vulnerable position, and you can see that in the way the giraffe are quite cautious before they go down to drink. But of course their size means there's only a handful of predators that are truly a danger to them. Certainly quite a peaceful afternoon here at Aldonio. Oh, something got that giraffe going. I don't know if it was maybe an elephant to the left. Something spooked it a little bit. And the zebra looked quite calm, so I don't think it's anything predatorial necessarily. Anyway, I'm good to stop in here at Aldonio for a bit. It's a bit quieter now. We're going to head on over to Lentor. Oh, fantastic. At long last, some birds. It's a grey hornbill. Looking quite different from the red or the yellow-billed hornbill. Quite a pretty bird nonetheless. We really do always get fantastic close-up views of the birds here at Lentor. I think I'm going to call Lentor the birding cam from now on. Quite a scary looking beak that the hornbill has, but nothing ominous. I think this is possibly a female by the colour of that beak. I must double check myself. I know their beak coloration's a bit weird. Yeah, it is definitely the female. I see the bird guides refer to that red on her tip of her beak as lipstick. I think that's quite fitting. She's looking quite calm and at peace. So it's quite warm there, so she's also just trying to escape a bit of the midday heat, that's for sure. Also got some pretty superb starlings in the tree with the hornbill. And they're always one of my favourite birds from Eastern Africa. I see how hornbill just gave us the slip over. But more than happy to still see the superb starlings. I just love their coloration, it's very pretty.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
Would you like to know at what age a buffalo calf gets its horns? These are questions that you can ask me in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on Safari Live and connect with nature.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure. Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Wild Earth Travel's newsletter is your passport to a magical journey. Explore exclusive travel options featuring special offers at stunning Wild Earth locations and all hosted by your favorite presenters. Don't miss out. Head over to our website and subscribe to the Wild Earth Travel newsletter today and stay in the know on all our unforgettable adventures. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
And there are just lines all over the district now, going in different directions here. Just shows you how quickly the bush can change. I'm very glad the zoomies and everyone in the back office was paying attention. We certainly came back at the right time to see that excitement. I'm not sure where the giraffe has gone. It looks like it's headed to neighbouring Botswana at the speed it was going at. That was very interesting. I'm surprised it took so long for that to happen. Almost none of the lions seemed very aware or interested, and then all of a sudden, pure chaos. Yeah, that was very interesting. I'm so glad we all got to see that. Bit of excitement on a Sunday. Yeah, I don't know if that was maybe just some pure cat excitement or instinct that was unleashed there. I don't know if there was necessarily a true hunger driving them for that. It wasn't a very coordinated approach. But that was very memorable. I hope everyone enjoyed that greatly. I think the part that stuck out to me the second time was seeing that giraffe flying across the horizon at full tilt. But yeah, I think our lions are kind of all over the show now. Ah, that's awesome. The magic of the African bush at its finest. I see a lot of comments coming through. James Hotham was asking if 3 lions couldn't take a giraffe. James, yeah, I think that is maybe one to few lions. I think in total there's about 4, but it's just tough to say if there may be more pride members scattered around. I don't know the lion dynamics quite well around Safari Hook. But yeah, it also sometimes relies on some of the simplest luck. If the giraffe maybe tripped or lost its footing and fell or something like that, then that giraffe would be a ticket. Those lions would be on it quite quickly. So yeah, it depends on a lot of things. But I think 3-4 lions, I think they could get the job done. I don't have a lot of experience in witnessing giraffe hunts. But never say never, eh? But once again, I just want to say to everyone, thanks for sticking with us on the lions. It was certainly well worth the effort. They kept us waiting right up until the end, but that was super exciting. And do hope everyone enjoys the sunset drive, that there's sightings such as that waiting for us. But never know, maybe something's still going to take place here. It's interesting, it almost seems like a certain level of quietness has fallen upon the waterhole here at Safari Hook. Other giraffe look quite calm now at the back here, to an extent. So keeping in mind, this is not the same giraffe, this is a giraffe bull. The one they were chasing was a cow. This male giraffe might see something. They have got incredible eyesight. They are quite good at spotting danger from afar. And that height advantage they have really does allow them to see things happening. I think that remains the most interesting though. I'm convinced that a giraffe cow didn't see a lot of the lions. I think she was seeing one of them at a further distance. This could be the female that evaded the lions. She looks none the worse, but certainly an exciting afternoon for her. Once again, my thanks to everyone for tuning in today. I hope it was a wonderful session. It was certainly a highlight one for me. Very awesome to have lions at long last, and we also got to see them with some interesting interactions. So it's always great to see that. Hope everyone has a wonderful week ahead, and that this afternoon sunset drive is also as enjoyable.